Conversation, we talked about a lot of stuff, and one of the things that we talked about is being willing to make a sacrifice for the change, and not just saying we're going to make a sacrifice and not having every time we talk about sacrifice and talk about change. We always talk, listen, make little steps and take it day by day and one step at a time. Sometimes them steps ain't going to be little, and just because them steps ain't going to be little, it shouldn't put fear in your heart and make you want to run away from the change. And you're gonna have to go through it if you actually want that. And if you want what you want, it should be worth that. Considering that what he had to go through was a situation where he's given up on one of his vices, and then giving that vice up, it hurt him. It put him in the hospital. While going in the hospital, that was your opportunity. Now that you're out, you have to recreate that opportunity to be able to, let's say, sacrifice for the change you want. These changes ain't gonna always be the same for everybody. They're not gonna always be easy or hard for anybody. But if you want change, you're gonna have to give up something. You're gonna have to show that it's worth it, and you're gonna have to go through that fucking door. And going through that door, you can't look back and see what you missed out on. You can't look back and see what you don't have no more. You got to continue looking forward to what your actual objective is. Within that objective, that's your accomplishment. That's what's important to you. That's what you keep striving for. My partner said, "Well, mine ain't the same because mine ain't the same because I almost died." I said, "Fuck, you did die. You were reborn. You were reborn into being a new person, a better person, and to being molded as that clay to be the person that you want to be for your family." That's exactly what you got to do. You got to get rid of the person you used to be so you can be the person you need to be for your family. There's nothing more important than your family. There's nothing more important than having people around you that genuinely love you for you and don't want nothing from you but for you to be you with them. If you're doing something else and you got another personality that you can't get rid of, they don't want that person. So therefore, it's almost like they don't want you. It's almost like it's better that you're not around. You have to purge that person, get rid of that old you. And it ain't going to be an easy step. Every step ain't going to be easy. And this step for him is an extremely hard step. You got to sacrifice for the change you want. Make that sacrifice and realize that it ain't going to be easy. I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice when you know exactly how hard it is. And you're saying, I don't want to do it like that. You're doing yourself a disservice. You know what you're going to have to go through. You got to sacrifice for the change you want and go through that shit. Fuck taking it easy. Fuck gradually doing it. You're going to have to sacrifice for the change you want. You want to be with God? You got to sacrifice. Give up the worldly things. You want to be with your old lady? You got to sacrifice. Give up the worldly things. God made us in his image. The same thing that we want, the same thing that she wants, the same thing that he wants. If you're not willing to go through that pain, is it worth having? Not saying that you're less of a person, but it definitely says that you're a weaker person than a stronger person that you can be. And is it beneficial to you to be the weaker person and showing a person I can be the weaker person and go through that shit? But I can't be that strong nigga. Right? Correction. I can't be that strong guy and go through that. If it ain't beneficial for you to waste your time with it, and don't waste your time with it. Realize that the people that you care about want the best you. But when the people that you care about see you going through the worst you to become the better you, to mold into this superhero of a parent, of a lover, of a husband, the amount of respect is different. I got homeboys that win, then I got some homeboys that are dogs, that when they win, it's on a whole nother level. Their performing personality is crazy. And I love seeing them go at it like that. But the ones that win, they win. It's cool. They stuck around and they fought for it. It don't have that same pride. It don't have the same feeling of joy when you think about it, when nobody else around and you smile about it. You got to sacrifice for the change you want. When you sit back and you can think about, man, I can't believe I did that. Dang, it was crazy to go through. And I say it all the time, like, I don't feel like my life was perfect by no means, and I wouldn't change a thing. That made me who I am today. I wouldn't sacrifice, I wouldn't change nothing at all. And it hurt me what I went through within my life, but it would hurt me more if I didn't go through what I went through in my life to make me the person to make the decisions that I am making right now in my life. That's my sacrifice. That's my sacrifice for the change I want. I wouldn't go backwards and undo that. You want to be a man of God and a distinguished gentleman. You want to hold a certain statue in front of your family. If you're the king of your castle, who are we if we're not willing to go through the hardship or the hardship? It is your burden to bear. It is your cross to carry. Carry that shit, my dude. Don't think on that shit as if it should be easy. Think on that as if once I make that step, I am renewed and I am worthy. Well, I am worthy of my wife's attention. I am worthy of my kids' appreciation and my kids' love. I'm worthy of it. No matter all the bad stuff I did, I'm purged. But if you ain't really willing to purge and you ain't willing to do that, I'm not saying you are less of a good person. But will you be a fit person to be able to accept the honors that you're getting? Because you deserve it. You deserve this shit, my dude. But if we as people want the easy way out, we would never get anything. There would be no gains made. If we as people can see the mountain in front of us and think, I got this shit, and go through it and feel like I don't have this shit, and push through and do it, you can look back on that shit. But if you just get it with ease, that ain't shit. By all means, this is nothing but love. But anybody that's dealing with anything, that's going through anything, I'm telling you, it's worth everything. So when the hard times come up and you feel like you can't, fuck that. Push through that shit, my dude. But you have no hard times. How do you know it's worth having? How do you appreciate it? There was no road travel. How do you appreciate something when there was no rough, rugged road? Everything was well paved and there were no curves in this road. Everything was straight ahead, tunnel vision. How? No interference. How? How do you appreciate the road you traveled? You went through and dealt with far too much to get it that easy. I'm telling you, in order to be the new you got to kill the old you. You got to get rid of the old you. That is the only way to become the new you. You can't let them live on the side in your ear. No time for devil's advocate. No time for good yin and yang, good and bad. No time for none of that. You got to kill it. And in killing it and purging it, it's going to hurt. You're going to shed a tear. I remember being so deep in love with somebody, and that person was doing me wrong. And I was less educated on how to handle the matter, the younger me, and not knowing that I'm better off without it. That I was holding myself in a situation that wasn't even good for me. But once I realized what my worth was and realized how much I loved myself, that I was worth it, I was more than enough. Once I realized that, I said a prayer that I knew I couldn't undo. And the prayer was, God, no matter how bad this hurt me, remove me from this. When I tell you, I felt like a crackhead coming off of a drug. I'm talking about in the bed, shaking to breaking down, crying in tears, not being bothered with nobody in the house all day, never going nowhere, wasn't working out, all of the above. But once I came through that, found somebody better, wasn't looking for nobody at all, realized that there's much more going on outside of my life that's worthy of my time and attention. But I wouldn't have known how to appreciate that if it wouldn't have been ripped off of me, if I wouldn't have been snatched out of it. Go through that shit. Be reborn to the man you're supposed to be and move forward. My dude said, I almost died. I said, you did die. You might have to do it again because you went back to that vice and now it has to be undone. But you were through the door that most people take years to travel through. You were through the door and you stepped back in. When moving forward, you can't move backwards. It sounds like it's common sense, but common sense ain't common. Come on, my dude. Do the hard stuff. I promise you it's worth it. For anybody that's dealing with anything that worth something, you're going to have to give everything. So give that. No looking back, no looking in the rearview mirror. It is hard to see what's going on behind me. I'm straight ahead. If anybody ain't never told you, I love you.